Hello everyone, welcome to another Photoshop video where today we're going to be taking a look at taking an ordinary object like this Steinberg UR22C and we're going to turn it into a nice little promotional social media post. So let's just jump into it and let's see what we can create. So to start off, I'm going to make a new file and I'm going to make this for Twitter. So I got a nice little preset made here which is 1200 by 675, which is the perfect size for a Twitter image in landscape. And first off, I'm going to drag and drop in that same image you just saw. And we're going to just play around with a few of the settings here. And we have to do a bit of cleanup first because, unfortunately, this is a dusty image. So we're just going to speed through and clean up all of these dust patches. Which does take a bit of time, but it is worth it to catch them all. You can see that this area at the bottom is very dusty, so some extra attention is going to be needed here. There we go, so we've cleaned that up as best as we can. So now we're just going to cut out the image so we have a nice base to work with. And we're going to do that with a pen tool. There we go, and with that masked out, now we can now continue with the rest of the design. Now, because this has a very sort of industrial look to it, I want to go with very sort of bold lines, clean colors, and keep it very minimalistic. So we're not going too crazy with the greenness, not going too crazy with the special effects. We're just keeping it true to what the product is. So we're going to first off start by just arranging things how we want them. So first off, we'll have this over here. Kind of don't want to get this bit in. And we'll try and choose a nice background color as well. While we're here, a nice blue to match the device. And we'll start laying down some basic copy just to get a feel of what everything is. And for some of this, I'm just using some marketing collateral that they have on their box. And one of the main selling points of this is that it is a USB 3 interface, so we'll include that. So now we're just going to play with some of this text and see where we can get it to fit. Try and get a nice layout, but again, try to keep it minimal. So we don't want any one element to stand out too much apart from the heading and the subheadings. So the text is going to be something that's just going to fade into the background and it's there if you want to read it. And as for colors, like I said, we're going to stick with some pretty simple colors. So all I kind of want to go with here is maybe a blue and possibly a red, because those are the only two colors the product really is. A light, very light blue, more metallic blue, and red coming in from these peak lights here, peak indicator lights. So I think that's what we're going to stick with here. And again, I kind of don't want to saturate the colors too much. So in keeping with this kind of industrial design here, what I want to try and do is try and do a design element based around this here, where they've got the sort of like punch out text. It's just text that's got a stroke applied to it. So we're going to try something with this title here to see what we can come up with. So I played with two different effects there, and I settled on this one because I felt it had a bit more of a unique style to it. Although this is something that we tend to seeing a lot of right now at the moment, but it is a rather effective style. It does lend itself well to adding to this little motif that they've got going on here, which is really the only design element that's going on this device. So I think we'll stick for it now and see if it works for the rest of the design. So next I want to add some sort of simple punchy elements just to add a bit more of an effect and overall visual interest to the design. So I think we're going to try and add a few little visual elements that will just spice everything up just a little bit, and I think we're also going to play with the text a little bit here to see if we can make it a bit more easier to read and highlight some of the features of the device a bit more easier. So there we go, we've cleaned up that text a bit and we've made everything just a little bit more easier to read, as well as highlighting some of the key features of the device. So next up I think we're going to start to focus on creating some sort of like key elements which link in to what the device does. This will help sell the ad and create sort of quick visual reference points that a potential buyer could use when they see this ad. They can instantly link it with what it's meant to be. So I've got a few images here which could work, and we're going to experiment by finding an interesting way to implement it into the design. So there we go, I've added some nice key images here which just tie everything together, and they also just direct the viewer towards the product, which I think worked pretty well for this instance. So next up we're going to work on the main product itself, because it is the thing that's sticking out at the moment. We haven't done any color grading to it, and we haven't made it look as good as it can, so that's what we're going to work on next and try to really bring it in line with the rest of the design. There we go, we've done a little bit of color correcting on it now. We've integrated it a little bit more into the design to make it look just a little bit more cohesive. So now we're just going to add some finishing touches to this and just maybe do a final bit of color correcting, but not too much now. This is just the last finishing stages. And one other nice little feature here is this ring here. It has a LED light, so we're going to try and bring that back into it and make it look like the device is switched on. So there we have it, a nice, easy product advertisement for the Steinberg UR22C. And that's the end of this. If you like what you saw, please leave a comment, rate, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you again for the next video. Thank you. Goodbye.